now it's just like, man, you got to have that time where you just like disconnect from the scene, just the race. Like, and it's a race that I've created in my head, you know? But you have to step away from it.
Never reminded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be.
Alright, perfect time to test the mic. Testing, testing. I think it's good. I don't know why there's so much delay, but it's fine. Alright, let's go ahead and jump right into it then. Yep, perfect. We are ready. Alright. Actually, let me listen to this a little bit longer while we go ahead and transition. Right there. That worked? Well, I guess I need a time to load in this stuff. Alright. It's all looking good. Alright, let me just check the transition worked out. I really hate that it's so delayed though. Better. I could already tell that I need to lower the volume. Just because I don't think my filter is doing such a grand job at filtering. Alright. So I think that's a good volume right there. Perfect. Alright, so welcome to whoever is watching. Thank you for joining us for today's stream. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a playtesting of the Abyss archetype. And one version in particular caught my eye. So there was a couple of, well, I think there was only one version I saw outside of just, you know, splashing this into an existing reptile archetype. That was the Layer of Darkness one. But I have like 3 iterations of Layer of Darkness, and I don't think this version of the Abyss layers really adds more to whatever I have already. I mean, granted, it would be nice to just have access to it at all times in the graveyard, but that's the really biggest benefit you could get out of it. The other ones, there's like quick effects, tribute during your opponent's turn. The other ones like fusion with your opponent's monsters with layers. This one's literally just, you always have access to a layer tribute. Not a big deal when you have like 3 other players to worry about. So that's why I'm not really going for the variant, although I will consider splashing like 1 Layer of Darkness. This version, however, takes in a little bit of a different approach, and I will give credit to where credit is due. This one I saw from the username Dual Evolution on his website. So what his combo does, I'll go ahead and quickly, I think that's a little spoilers there, but what he does is he figured out a way to combo into Bishop Balkan. And to those who don't really know what that card does, it's essentially, actually pause it right there, that's good. Actually, we could just play it out. Essentially what it does is it special summons tokens to both players' side of the fields up to the same amount. Lower the quality, sure, I don't really care. The point is that this is exactly the board state I would love my opponents to be in, right here, after this token gets summoned. So what the Reptiles new support at least offers, and I'm saying new, but I'm talking about things like the Reptilian Echidna, and Reptilian Hydra was an old card, but essentially my previous strategy to the Reptile was to try to abuse the fact that Echidna searches basically could search 5 if your opponent has 5 cards. So the effect in particular is if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you can add reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. So if you could figure out a way to consistently summon out Bishop Balkan, he will get 5 tokens that are 0/0 attack to your opponent's side of the field. And what this allows him to do afterwards, of course, is go into Echidna, which he's going to do now, using Reproducus to turn one of these tokens into Reptile, and then make Echidna to then basically search out 5 cards in his deck. Beautiful stuff. So essentially making Echidna such a busted archetype, a busted support, which I love. The only problem with that though is in his strategy, you could probably, if you watched the video ahead of me, then you'll probably have noticed it too, if you were at all interested in this deck, that you need a particular hand. Snake Rain would definitely help you start the combo, but essentially what you need to have is at least 5 different named reptiles in your graveyard to summon out Bishop Balkan consistently. Now, he does it with Snake Rain, he does it with the Abyss archetype by the hand traps level 4 Abyss monsters to just pitch another reptile from your deck. So that definitely helps to add the names in your list, and the reason why is because of a card called Snake Lily of the Abyss. It sends 1 reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard, and you have 5 or more reptiles, you can special summon a reptile from your graveyard. So I could show a little bit of the combo now. I think it'd be faster than just look through the video. So let's go ahead and do a little quick solo mode here. All right. So, in an ideal scenario, by the way, I did build this deck ahead of time so that you guys can see it. All right, perfect. We have it, Snake Rain. So that will get us probably 4. We're gonna send this to the grave, and we're gonna want to send these specific cards. So what we need is the Dark level 4 Abyss monster, so this guy. What he does is if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Abyss spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And the one I just talked about, the Lily of the Snake Abyss, that's the one we want in our hand. So we want that one in the grave. The next one we want in the grave is one that could special summon that card from the grave, which I think I just passed by. There he is, the Cursed Dawn of the Abyss. So if this card's in the graveyard, tribute a monster, special summon this card, then your opponent can special summon a monster. And if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 lower Abyss monster in your graveyard to special summon it. So if you pull this off first turn, it doesn't matter that you give your opponents that ability to special summon a monster from the grave. They're likely not going to have a monster to special summon from the grave. And on the off chance that they did maybe pitch a hand trap, more than likely that monster is a 0 attack monster. So things like Ash Blossom, 0 attack, 1800 defense. Effect Veiler, I believe, is also 0 attack, 0 defense. So, and I'm sure all the other Ghost ladies do the same thing too. So having them pitch one of those hand traps is not a big deal that we had to special summon them, because it still meets the criteria that they are 0 attack, which makes it beautiful. So we send this to the grave because it special summons that guy. And then we just get 2 other names in the grave. Ideally, we want him as well, because what he does in the grave, if I can hover over him, is he can special summon himself from the graveyard for free if you have no monsters in your possession. If you control no monsters, or you just control Abyss monsters, which is going to be likely all the time when we're starting off the combo at least. So that works fine. We want one of you, and then we just want an extra one from whatever name. In my deck, I run 1 of each of those, but I might change those numbers up later. And there we go, we have 5. So what we want to do then, you know what sucks though? I think the combo does require that I at least normal summon, because using their effects does require that they banish. So for example, this one, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. This guy that I was just talking about. Banish him when it leaves the field. So if I special summon this guy, it will get banished and we won't meet the 5 criteria that we need. But let's assume that we have somehow met that goal. This is what I need to fix in this deck to make it more consistent, because it's not just 5 different names, it's 5 different names plus the extra monsters that is required for this combo. So we special summon this by normal summoning some monster and tributing it away. Then we can special summon him. We can special summon the other guy using this guy's effect right here. Special summon it. Actually, this guy helps us to get this guy out, which is nice, but when he does special summon himself from the grave, it does banish itself, which is unfortunate. Also, I believe it's a hard once per turn. Otherwise, dumping 2 and making a rank 4 would be amazing. That would probably solve most of our issues here, but unfortunate that that's not the case. So we probably don't even need to summon him right now, because what we want instead is to just get out our Lily here. Where's our Lily? There it is. I have Snake Lily of the Abyss. So that's the one we want to search out, because the reason is once we activate this, we'll be sending... Where are you? Mass Chameleon. So we choose Mass Chameleon not for his effect, but because he is a reptile tuner that is level 4. And I didn't bother searching for other ones that are like that, but I felt like he would be good in a pinch too. Like, he feels like the best one anyway, so I didn't even think to search for other reptile tuners that are level 4. But he's going to be the best one most likely. So we send him to the graveyard, then because we control 5 different names, we special summon him. This will get us a level 4 tuner and a level 4 monster, which will allow us to go into a level 8 synchro. So let's banish this guy because we special summoned him with this effect. To grave, sorry, with this guy's effect. We make ourselves a whatever level 8 tuners synchro, doesn't really matter which, because we are pitching them both for the Bish Balkan, and that's pretty much the combo. And once we're at this combo, we could do a lot of things. So first off, what we could do with this combo once we have it off, after we summon all 5 tokens, and assuming that we didn't get disrupted at all in the process, then we could go to Reproducus and do one of two things. We could go into the Reptilian Echidna plan, just draw us 5 and just try to overwhelm ourselves with resources and try to use them all up. Or something I thought of, what I'm not going to pull off in the stream because that's just so crazy, but feel free to take this if you're watching this sometime right now and want to try this out yourself. You could make a Reeferdocus, you could go into a winged beast monster, and then link those 2 away for some Morg. And what that will do is you will have a bunch of level 1 tuners to make like Link Haribos with. You will lock your opponents out of normal summoning because you have special summoned 5 tokens to their field that they cannot remove by special summoning. And you have a wing, they have to special summon a wind monster. So good luck doing that with generic tokened monsters on your field. In fact, I kind of looked for what could possibly be a wind monster for this Kaiyum combo, and when it comes to Link 2 at least, you have to have wind monsters on the field to even link summon with a Link 2 wind monster. So that's not an option. I imagine that as you go up the chains, Appaloosa requires different names, I believe, so you can't even link those away for Appaloosa. You have to somehow make them different names, if you could even do that by special summoning link monsters that are wind. So essentially that creates a pretty solid lockdown on your opponent. The only way they could, in theory, remove it is some type of board wipe. And I'm not even talking about targeting board wipe either, because Simorg protects that and the barrier from the targeting, and they couldn't even really attack. Oh, well, actually that's the flaw there. They could ram their monster into Simorg. That is a downside, and that probably could be abused. But that's a lot of damage you're going to be taking to try to do that. They'll have to put a 0 attack monster into attack and ram into a 2400 beater, and that's gonna hurt. And after that, maybe they'll have an out from there due to some normal summon that they could pull off, or they could also tribute summon. So actually, now that I'm noticing quite a bit of flaws with that, so maybe it's not the best, but it is kind of a crazy lock to pull on your opponent. Not something that we'll be doing today. We are going to try to abuse Echidna in this version of the deck. And that's exactly what he does as well in his deck. And probably for the same reason I just discussed, that maybe the Winged Beast monster summoning isn't really the optimal play because there's workarounds to it. So, what this also allows us to do, funny enough, we will have the correct materials after Reproductus to make Unchained Abomination. You may have saw that in the video. So using Unchained Abomination, we could then pop our own monsters. Why that's important is because we were considering summoning Venomanaga, the poisonous snake deity. And one of the criteria that you need to meet is you need to destroy one of your Venomenon guys. The King of Venomenon, I think is what he's called. So you will pop him and then you activate a trap card. And that's actually what I have in this deck here right now. You could probably see it here. We run the triple trap tricks so that we could get into the Rise of the Snake Deity if we don't draw it. Then we run one, maybe you could run more of him, but I'm just running one of him. We'll somehow get him on the field at some point. That part we'll probably figure out in a bit. And the Venomenaga. So with the inclusion of Unchained Abomination and how easy it is to use those tokens for that big beater of a monster, it would be great to try to use that to try to summon Venomenaga, especially after having like 5 different names in the graveyard and plus more with how many searches we're going to get. You get a pretty powerful Venomenaga first turn. And that is kind of the goal with this deck at the end of the day. But of course, you have to hard draw the one that summons it, Rise of the Snake Deity. That's the name. Considering that though, I might actually want to run more of her. So let's do Rise of the Snake Deity. Yeah. We'll run 3, so we could have at least 6 copies of it in our deck to kind of hopefully draw into it and maybe see it when we do our plays and our combos. But that's kind of the struggle here. We gotta find out a way to get as many reptiles into the grave so we could pull off that combo consistently enough. So kind of my initial idea to the solution was card destruction, hand destruction, and a Perform a Pauper up. What these do is they basically discard your hand and draw a new one, discard 2, draw 2, discard 3 at most, draw 3, and that one deals a lot of damage. So and there's also a hard once per turn, so we don't run multiples of these because there's no point. I could run multiple, but to draw a second one after activating this first one, it feels bad. That feels really bad. And how much we'll be digging into the deck will matter. So yeah, these are the ones I considered. It might work, it might not. That's kind of the big what if scenario that I'm thinking about. Like, we could try to do better to try to dump more reptiles into the grave. We'll try to figure that out now, but that's the struggle right now. The other struggle we're having is, what do we search out with Echidna? So we get five tokens on your opponent's side of the field, especially on all 3 opponents' side of the field. You'll want to come up with a big explosive move. And, you know, the symbolic play would be cool to basically lock everybody out of summoning. But I want to do something a little bit better, something that they can respond to. Granted, that is so tempting, though. But it would feel so bad if I locked them out like that. Like, make a move. You can't even normal summon unless you ram into me. Alright, so what we could try to do, I'm trying to think. So, what I've done with my old version of the deck, let me go ahead and pull that up now if I have it somewhere available. Yeah, Reptiles appears versus version 2. So my old version of the deck didn't like the trap card, and part of me still doesn't, but given how consistently I could pull off a first turn Unchained Abomination, I feel more confident in running it now. This version of the deck, though, cannot do that, so we get stuck with having to do it a different way, which is the Wild Monster Appears. But what I do as well is try to come up with ways for your opponents to have attack 0 tokens on the field with Ojama Trio. What we'd usually search out, though, were these guys here: the Lizard Draw, the Swing Cobra, and whatever monster we want to summon to our field. I feel like we should bring that back, because part of my other strategy with searching out Echidna is searching out Lamia and special summoning Lamia to the field to then use Hydra and then blow up all their 0 attack monsters so that they can't use it. Now, it's only one opponent, but still, to destroy all their tokens and then draw 5 for it, that's a good feeling. And I ideally want to do that to the person right after me so that they don't have something to work off of and, you know, wipe everybody else out with it. So that's kind of the play I want to go for here, and I think I'm going to bring these 2 back. The only problem with these 2, though, is that they are dead draws for real. However, it doesn't really matter if we pitch them with hand destruction, card destruction, because we could, if we run multiple copies of it, it should work out in our favor. And also, they're not a bad draw engine if you draw them both. So, like this guy, if you have a Perform a Compel card, well, come on. If you have a Perform a Compel card in your other Pendulum zone, you can destroy this card and draw a card. So he's like, it's a free draw if you have the other one, so it's not a big deal. And in fact, after you're done pendulum summoning them, you don't really have to keep it on the board either. You could just pop itself and then draw a card. I think this guy does something else, is like, if your monster inflicts damage, send the top card of your deck. Not a big deal. I think it also does have a ability to attack directly, which is also pretty nice. So yeah, I think I am convincing myself little by little to bring these guys back, because these are not bad, especially if you can search out Lamia and do things with them. Considerations I want to try to bring back is the Ammonite play, but it requires me to run this normal monster, which I don't like. I really don't. Though this guy is really nice to try to abuse. Because one combo that I like to have tried to pull off with this is Cosmic Fortress with the Call of the Haunted. And the reason why we run Call of the Haunted is to revive our GB Hunter during our opponent's turn so that a wild monster appears, doesn't shuffle our Venom and Non-Vegamaga back into our deck. So that is a big crucial part of this. But since we're not running the Cosmic Fortress, nor are we running the Wild Monster Appears, it doesn't feel fitting to run the Call of the Haunted or the Ammonites. Since we're not going to be playing the Ammonites because we don't want to be drawing any more bricks in our deck, then yeah, cutting the Wild Monster, cutting the Call of the Haunted, cutting the Cosmic felt right to do, but maybe we'll pivot back into that in a later version of it. Let's go back into the Abyss Balkan. That's what I'm calling it, by the way. Abyss Balkan. Because, you know, Bish Balkan, Abyss. You get it. Alright, so now I showed you the combo essentially. The reason why you go into Reproductus is because it becomes difficult after using up our normal summon to get another reptile into the field. So you just use Reproductus to make one of our tokens reptile. Not a big deal. And of course, making the Unchained is because we have all these tokens. We might as well use them up. However, I'm thinking through it. I want to see. Actually, you know what we could do instead? We could do Link Haribo, or 2 Link Haribos, and a Max. I'm forgetting his name. Avermax. There you go. He's gonna be somewhere here. There he is. Avermax. He requires 2 monsters special summon from the extra deck. Link Haribos will do the job, and I was considering running a Link Haribo for that bitch ball can play anyways. Granted, I don't know how consistent that is when it comes to real testing, so maybe I won't run too many Link Haribos just to play this guy. So Unchained is fine. Makes use of our Reproductus that basically has served up its purpose after turning into a reptile. Funny enough, it does turn their token into a reptile. I don't know how significant that would be. Yeah, but regardless, we do that. We summon Echidna, and then we go combo off. We're then locked into reptiles, which sucks, but we have Abyss, which will work out, I feel. So something great about some of these guys is that they have quick effects, or rather just trigger effects. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard, send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard, things like that. They're like very responsive, very reactive. And so it's not a bad idea to go into Echidna, then make our way into Alien Shock Trooper M-Frame, get as many tokens to the opponent's monster zone, and then use his effect by destroying it using Unchained Abomination to summon all these Abyss monsters, and then just say, like, go ahead. Out my Unchained board with 3 Abyss monsters on the field. Or 4 or 5, depending on what we discard. So yeah, no, it's not bad either. And actually, given how consistently we could go into the Shock Trooper M-Frame and have a high attack monster in our hand, we might want to consider running more alien monsters just to utilize this ability better. And actually, that is what he does in his video too. The only difference though is that he runs a different card called Cosmic. I forget his name. It's the new card from the OCG that hasn't been released into Duel Book just yet. This guy, Cosmic Pincer Zeldora. Let me actually see if that is in DB. Zeldora? Or Zel... Or ZE, just ZE, search. There shouldn't be a lot of ZEs in the game. Search new first. No. Okay. So they didn't release it yet. Unfortunate. Actually, maybe I should have looked a little bit more into the future here. Nope, that's fine. I say future, but like the next page. Alright, so that's fine. So that is essentially the deck. I'm trying to think of ways to improve those aspects. If you want to go ahead and join me and help me out in that part, that'll be great. Oh, by the way, the lighting is... There you go. Fix the lighting. So let's see. So one of the cards that came to mind that I'll maybe want to play is the Dark Creator. Whenever my computer... There you go. And I think the new Creator card could help us as well. So, because some of our reptiles will be banished, and we can recover them easily with this guy. The Alathe Dusk of the Abyss, when you special summon, you can add this card. If you special summon, you can target 2 of your banished monsters, including 1 reptile monster. So, always gives us a nice way to get our monsters back from the banished zone. But not really feeling that right now, because you have to hard draw him, and he'd be great, but you have to still hard draw him. And we have a mix of light and dark. Actually, now that we're thinking about that, Nebula. This guy is really good. Change all face-up monsters in the field face-up during the end phase. This turn, change all face-up light reptile monsters you control to face-down defense and draw 1 card for each. Special summon 1 level 7 or higher light reptile monster from your deck. These are level 5 or higher light reptile monsters. Most of them at least. I think there's 2 that are and 2 that are not. And the big guy is in fact light. So actually, this is a great way to cheese that out. And actually, since we're running 3 Trap Chicks, oh baby, we have to run at least some of these. If you have enough Abyss on the field, this just could easily become a draw 5 right there. Ghost of a Grudge is always a hard bargain to play. but does serve up pretty nicely when it comes to like those surprise moves, like they try to attack our board and we just make all their attacks zeros. Of course, fitting to the idea of it. However, I don't want to run too many traps. Although Ghost of a Grudge feels fine. I think that's fine. So, what we do want to run as well is the Performapal cards. Alright. Whenever it loads up again. I already talked about the Performapal cards. They have to be Reptile though. So let's get those out. Oh, there's more that I've ignored. What I've also considered is trying to find something with a higher scale. Because 2 to 6 was fine when most of my monsters were level 4, but our monsters might be like level 8 or level 10 for this instance. So unfortunate that we can't find it. Actually, we'll do one more check with a generic pendulum search. No, these are all of them. They're all Performapal, funny enough. That makes me wonder, should I just run one of each? You can target a face of monster control and gain 0 attack for each Performapal you currently control. You know, it would be interesting to try to run a Reptile Performapal deck. They don't synergize with the Abyss though, which is unfortunate. But it still looks pretty cool that they have a bunch of Reptile cards for whatever reason. But the only ones we're interested in are these two. So we'll add those in. For search targets, unfortunately, yeah, they're bricks, but again, not terrible bricks if you could somehow draw the other one. Or once you perform the combo, that'll be even better. Let's see. Oh, I should justify Sinister Surf in here. We have a bunch of discard fodder. Discarding him would be nice to just get a +1 later on in the future. And recovering him with the Elite Dusk of the Abyss will allow us to use Sinister Serpent even if it's banished. So all of it synergizes pretty well. So that's all perfect. Other than that though, I don't know what else we can really do. What's nice about these guys too is that this guy's at least a level 4, so that I can use Kageto Kage on him if I need to. Because that's another important thing. We need to, the best way I feel to get more reptile monsters into the deck would be to get ourselves into a rank 4 to get ourselves the King of the Feral Imps. So that feels like the way to do it. Because this guy can help us search out the opposite color if you haven't used one already. Ideally, I believe we want the Null Drag of the Abyss, I believe. Because that will get... No, this guy. The Nihil Drag of the Abyss to pitch our Cursed Dawn of the Abyss to the grave. So essentially that's the idea. We get the King of the Feral Imps to search out our pitcher. We pitch it away to get more reptiles into the deck graveyard to facilitate the 5 or more reptile monsters in our graveyard combo. Other than that though, I feel like maybe we should run more cards at discard. I mean, the 3 spots could just be Dark World Dealing, but Dark World Dealing feels bad because for one, it makes your opponent discard a card of their choice, which is like very helpful if they're running Dark World Dangers. But it's also just 1 card, so it's like you're negging 1 to potentially discard a card and draw a card that might help you further your play. Feels bad to play it. At least with hand destruction, it's 2, so you could dig into your deck a little deeper while pitching cards. But just 1 feels bad. But we might have to, considering what we're working with. Another consideration might be more dangers, honestly. Because I know Tsushinoko is still limited, but to run the other ones like Nessie to maybe search out more. Actually, we could fill the level 8 requirement by running a danger package. Yeah, that might not be bad. Just set the cards that you don't want to get pitched. Maybe. It might not be a bad idea to run some dangers at a level 8. Because that's the goal of this deck anyways, to run those cards. Oh, another thing too is he did run the Heretics. Maybe some of you guys noticed it in some of the combos. Let me see if I could go back to one of them. Basically, he runs the Heretic cards, especially summon the level 8 Dragon monster, Dragon Tuner. The level 8 normal Dragon Tuner. That's a mouthful. Using Heretic's effects, because that's what they typically do. So it's not a bad idea as well to maybe Once you've somehow facilitated those cards into your grave, some normal summon a Hieratic, and then special summon out that dragon by tributing it, because how easy is it to tribute it when all these cards tribute? It's a consideration, but not a high one at that. I actually might run multiples of these cards because, let's see, Curse. Yeah, this guy. So definitely run multiple of him. Does he banish himself at any point? No, I feel like running one of him is fine. We run 3 of him already. I gotta remember what the boss monster does. I think it's send all monsters that aren't special summoned from the graveyard. Yeah, send all monsters except face of monsters that were special summoned from the graveyard. So not bad, especially with a 3100 attack. That's a little bit more than most boss monsters. So really good. And also non-target sending. Yeah, non-targeting, non-destruction removal is pretty solid. Oh yeah, we could just run Layer of Darkness. That could fill up the rest of our deck. 2 layers, and I feel like we're good from there. Oh, wait a minute. Darkest Diabolos might actually be a nice one to run as well, because that's a level 8 that we can easily get. Ooh, that's tempting. But we have to hard draw it for 1. Just like we have to hard draw layers, honestly. But given how much we tribute, it's not bad. You know what? Yeah, I'll pitch a layers for this guy. Again, we're not trying to surround our our plan with layers of darkness here, because they're nice to have, and it's definitely good if you could tribute like one of the opponent's monsters that are hard to remove. Definitely a solid non-targeting, non-destruction removal there. But we want to facilitate more of the combo aspect of reptiles instead of, you know, just layers abyss. I say just, but it still sounds pretty powerful to have a always accessible tribute fodder effect on command in your graveyard while having layers on the field. It does have a feel nice moment there. As for extra deck, Alien Shop Tutor feels nice. We run the Zodiac package just in case we want to trigger our Phenomenon. But what I might want to do instead, I might want to run ways to special summon him from the graveyard. And, what am I talking about? I already thought about that. So one of the problems with this guy is that he cannot be special summoned by another effect monster's effects. Honestly, that was a really great thing for them to do because there are cards that do that easily, like Mystic Tomato, things like that in the past. So really future-proofs this card as well. Unfortunately, though, that does make it harder for us to special summon it with cards like Shock Trooper End Frame, which could special summon a bunch of reptiles from our graveyard. That feels bad. What we could do instead, and you know, let me also take these out. We already have the Unchained Abomination. Hey there, Frosty Losty. We are building a Abyss Balkan, is the best way I want to put it. Ask me questions about it unless you've been in the chat for a while. So then feel free to chill out here while I'll go ahead and talk about this incredible deck that I'm trying to make work. Alright, so what was I doing? I was searching for Baguska. There you go. So at least run Baguska for that. If I'm running with solid level rank 4 cards, I might as well run Evil Swarm, Exotonite. There you go. Alright. Well, we so far have not done anything to fix the problems that this deck has, but let's see. Let's find out. We're just testing for consistency now. So how easy can I get to Bishop Balkan? With hands like these, I think it's very easy. So we want to first off set our Trap Trick. We can Snake Rain right now, but I may want to instead. Oh no, I think we will. We will Snake Rain. So we're going to go ahead and send this Nihil to the grave. Use its effect to send a light reptile from our deck to the grave. And I think the card of choice is going to be not the level 8 guy, but the level 4 guy, because we could use a special summon from our graveyard right now. So to grave this guy. Pretty awesome that they synergize. We're going to use its effect right now to special summon itself to the field. And then we could just normal summon the Swing Cobra. and both being level 4, we can overlay. And this is nice so that we could play around cards like Ash Blossom so that our Snake Rain could go through. So let's go for that. We'll do King of the Feral Imps, of course. We're gonna detach either of these actually. So we're gonna detach the Cobra so we can get a different name in our graveyard. Not like it really matters though, because I think we're gonna get rid of the Feral Imp pretty soon. We are going to then search out. Where are you? Ooh, I'm tempted to actually search out the light one because we need this card in the graveyard to facilitate our combo, right? We already did the special summon of this guy. We need to be able to special summon the other guy from the graveyard, and I don't think searching out the Null Dreg of the Abyss is going to help us with that. Because Null sends a Dark Monster, and the only Dark Monster I would want to consider sending that's a Reptile is this guy. I believe this guy is the better of the two. Special summoning, you can target to banished, yada yada. What's the other one do? The other one... Where are you? It's a shame I only run one copy of it. Where are you? I know I run... There you are. What do you do then? Oh, you're... I don't like DV for that. Alright. So, yeah, special summon this card. If a monster is special summoned from opponent's graveyard, send it to grave. If a monster is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon a... Oh, there it is. If a monster is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon one light or dark reptile monster from your graveyard. So guess what? Card destruction does exactly that. This synergy really does work out. It is a gamble though. If they don't Ash us here and instead Ash us here, we're kind of boned. So we can actually search out that card exactly. And then pull off our combo that way. Not bad. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it that way. Because out of 3 players, they have to have a monster that will be sent to the graveyard by this effect. They have to. So we'll search out this guy. 2-hand. To then use this effect to send this to the grave, to then draw ourselves, to pitch ourselves. Where is it? We just saw it. This is what happens when you run one copy of a card in a 60 card deck. You're like trying to search for the needle in the haystack. Goodness, where are you? You didn't shuffle at all. You must be in the same spot. Yes, you are. I'm just blind. Alright, this goes to the graveyard. And then we could go ahead and card destruction. Now, I'm pretty sure card destruction works whether or not either player has no cards in their hands. I think it's only if both players have no cards in their hand that this card does not activate. But being first turn, you want to imagine that you will have cards in their opponent's hand, of course. So they discard, they draw, they are bound to have a monster in their hand. If not, I am kind of screwed. But otherwise, we want to do this after we tribute our King of the Feral Imp to summon him. Oh, and we didn't even check. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, that's why we don't summon him. Because you have to tribute 2 monsters to summon him. Okay. Yeah, different plan then. Instead of doing all of that, to top deck, we don't search out this guy. We instead search out the other guy. And this is why we playtest these things, so that we don't fall for these mistakes. Let's see, we search out the Iron King of the Abyss. So, no, that's not the card. This card. We search this card to hand, then we card Destruction. Because that will get this card into the grave. And then we draw a card. Doesn't really matter what card we draw, because now we could tribute that King of the Feral Imps to summon this card. Now, unfortunately, the opponent will get to special summon a monster that they pitched from their hand. But not going to be too terrible. Yeah, that's kind of terrible. It is kind of unfortunate, but we need to get done what needs to get done. We'll special summon this guy using this card's effect. And with that, we could go ahead and search out the Snake Lily of the Abyss. There you are. Now, moment of truth. Do we have 5 monsters with different names in our grave? No. All that comboing and we didn't even achieve that. So we're gonna be forced to activate our Snake Rain on this random card we drew. So 2 Grave, and let's pitch the necessity that we need to pitch. Let's go for every Abyss card, so 2 Grave. This guy, actually maybe this guy as well, 2 Grave. That's 2. Sinister Serpent, why not? 3. It just gives us value in the future. And for her, no, we already pitched her. This guy, 2 Grave. Cool, that's 4. That has to be 4 with different names now. Sorry, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 with different names. Perfect. Oh, 7. Sorry, we missed this guy. So it doesn't even matter. That achieves our condition to activate the Snake Lily of the Abyss to go ahead and special summon ourselves the Masked Chameleon from our decks. In theory, sends it to the graveyard, then special summons it from the graveyard, like so. And this allows us to synchro that. This gets banished because it was special summoned by the effect. Synchro those 2 away. Doesn't even matter that this guy gets summoned because it's immediately getting synchroed away, or rather special summoned by Bishop Balkan's effect. Then we special summon it. Now if this was turn 2, I would actually consider moving this over here and just special summoning 4 guys. And especially I guess in this moment I would probably do that too. Just because I want to try to keep this ultimatal Bishop Balkan on the field. He's a big beater. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it gains 1,000 attack for each monster in the field. And with my opponents having a minimum 5 monsters on the field, it's gonna feel good. It's definitely gonna feel good. Alright, so with that said, we summon our tokens. This is where I probably should have ran Link Karibo, but I don't think it really matters for the Reproductus play. Yeah, it only requires 2 monsters. So we could in theory run Link Karibo. We'll remove these 2 for the Reproductus. But the problem is we have to go immediately into... Yeah, we have to go immediately into the Reptilian gal. Because we have ran out of summons. The extra token that would have came out of Bishop Balkan would have actually helped us out. That's the problem with that play. I mean, we could still do it, but it means that we have to let go of Bishop Balkan to really pull through with the full combo. So full combo being doing that, summoning out our Unchained Abomination, and then yeah, we missed out on the token that we would have summoned otherwise. Honestly though, if our opponent special summoned a monster, we would kind of be stuck in this scenario anyways, because they would have a monster that's on the field and we can only summon up to the amount of cards that are equal sides. So yeah, in that scenario where we don't have access to this, what do we do instead? Well, I guess we keep the Bishop Balkan. We'll keep the Reproductus on the field. Oh, your phone died? Ouch. Sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, thank you for charging it and hopping right back on. Let me know what you missed. What was the last thing you remember seeing? Because I could walk you through some of the things that I'm doing now. And I was actually wondering, like, I guess if you're just here to chill, that's fine. Or maybe you missed the hello I gave to you. By the way, hello if you did miss the hello. Welcome to the stream, Frosty. Oh, it's already 9. Shoot. Alright, let's go ahead and contact the boys then. Man, I probably should dedicate more than an hour to this play session. I'm starting to notice that. That it's definitely needed. Alright. First off, let me see something here. There's a lot of delay. Oh, that's a good thing. I should check that. A lot of delay on your end, or just a lot of delay in general? Let me check. Did the stream freeze? Let me see if my stream froze here. Because it might just be the loading. Oh wow, that is bad. What happened? Oh, maybe it's the YouTube that's pushing it? At least the audio isn't going out. Oh, am I just gonna go no audio this stream as well? Because, sorry, no song?